We're back, and we're going to do a few things here. I jotted down a few notes. I hope you don't mind. I hope you're enjoying your lunch. Is it supper? Okay. Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? Really good, really good. Anyway, we've got a few things to do here. I understand it's Martha and Ignatius Kaharski's 49th anniversary on November the 16th. So happy anniversary. Well, we've got anniversaries coming out of our ears here. We've got Uncle Jack and Aunt Dessa's Susky's anniversary on the 32nd anniversary on Monday. So there's an anniversary. Okay? And that's not all. We've got Alec and Helen Rainka's 54th anniversary today. Can't get much closer than that, can you? Anyway, so that's it for anniversaries. I hope you don't mind if I jot down a few notes here, because I want to make sure I don't miss anything, okay? Before I go any further, I want to tell you a little story. Remember I was telling you about my mom and dad. They're known as Frank and Beatrice, mom and dad. They're also known as Fronek and Bronya, right? So I want to tell you a little story here about Fronek and Bronya. One day, Fronek was looking very sad, and he was walking down the street, and a friend of his asked why he was so sad. He says, "Well, you know women." He said, "I was going to buy Bronya a really nice jewel box for her anniversary." Well, he went to look at them, and he looked at one, and when you opened the lid, it played "Happy Anniversary to You," right? So he thought he really liked it. He said, so he bought one. But instead of buying the red one, he bought the blue one. And he didn't know that the different colors played different songs. Anyway, so he bought the blue one, and Bronya was really happy to see the jewel box until she opened the lid, and it played "The Old Gray Mare, She Ain't What She Used to Be." Anyway, speaking of what she used to be, Tanis, can you come on stand in the middle of the floor, please? We want to have a look at you. Little girl, Tanis, she's not so little anymore, of course, but there she is. Now this is the dress that Beatrice wore on her 50th, on her wedding day. It was white. She dyed it. And there it is. The dress that Beatrice wore on her wedding day. That's what she used to be. Anyway. I have to get that in there, Larry. Anyway, okay. Okay, Frank and Beatrice were, I hope you don't mind calling her Frank and Beatrice, mom and dad, grandma and grandma. They were married in Polonia on November the 14th, 1932. Now, I don't remember, but they tell me that the wedding party took a team of horses to the church. And there was so much snow around that the roads were all blocked, and they had to take the fields to get to the church. Is that right? Is that right? Yeah? Is that something? It's quite a change from what's out there today. A really nice day out there. Anyway, I asked my mom, or Beatrice, I asked her to tell me some important things that happened on that day, but she really couldn't. She's one thing that's happened is that Frank froze his ear. I know. So I have a feeling that she's not really telling us everything, but I guess we'll stay with the year for now anyway. Anyway, they lived in Elk Ranch from 1932 to 1945, and after their first year of marriage, Frank was getting pretty impatient. He wanted to know, where's the family? You know, 1 year's gone by, where's the family? But once the family started, there was no stopping. Before they knew it, they had 2 boys and 2 girls, enough for doing the chores around the farm. That was enough. And as a matter of fact, there was even a time when they lost track of how many kids they had, because this is a true story. What happened is they found an extra kid around the house, and what happened is that the night before, this is a true story, the night before they had company over and they forgot their little baby at their house. True story. Anyway, by the time they moved to Glenella District in 1945, they had enough kids to bring in the hay in the fall. Okay? And a few years later, they had a complete thrashing gang and enough to field a baseball team on the weekend. So the family really grew at that point. They lived in Nipoa since 1956, and they had 7 children, and I would like to introduce them to you now, because the main reason why is because all night everybody said, are you Gibby, are you Jerry, are you Herb, which one are you? You live in Clark, you live in Winnipeg. So I'm going to straighten this all out once and for all tonight, okay? So, as I introduce them, I would like them to remain standing for a few minutes until everybody gets a real good look at them and whatever, because sometimes they can't believe it, right? Okay, the first one is Lillian White. Okay, there's Lil, okay? Now, stand up for a while. Okay, now, Lil and Les were on vacation not too long ago. They were out in Alberta, I think it was, and they checked into a motel, okay? And the manager of the motel says, well, I'm sorry, but we only have the bridal suite left. And Lil said, but we've been married for 26 years. And the manager said, Mrs. White, if I had to give you the dance hall, I wouldn't expect you to dance all night. Okay, Lil. Okay. Okay. Lil married Les White. Les, you want to stand up there? Come on, let's stand. Okay, Les lives in Brandon. Les and Lil live in Brandon. Les is a stationary engineer for Burns Foods in Brandon. And Les became a grandfather not too long ago, a few years ago, and he says it's not bad being a grandfather, it's really nice, but the worst part is realizing that you're now married to a grandmother. That's the worst part. Anyway, okay, now Les and Lil have 4 children, and I want them to stand up so everybody can have a look at them. Okay, there's Debbie, Lyle, Wayne, and Darren. Can you stand up? There's Wayne. There they are. There's Darren and Debbie, Lyle. There they are. So that's who they belong to. Okay? The next one is Florence Mears. That's the second one, second daughter. Florence, you want to stand up? Okay, Florence lives in Winnipeg. Florence says you can't win. She says, when I was 12 years old, I used to spend hours and hours in front of the mirror trying to look 18 years old. And she says, even today, I still spend hours and hours in front of the mirror trying to look 18 years old. Okay, Florence, thanks. Okay, it's Florence married Clarence Mears, okay? Clarence lives in Winnipeg. Of course, Clarence, of course, lives in Winnipeg. Clarence works for McLeod's. Clarence says you can do anything if you really want to. Just like the example where the guy who used to take a shortcut to work every day through the graveyard. One day, he wore a path right through that graveyard. One day, they dug a grave right in the middle of that path, and this other guy fell into the graveyard. Fell into the grave. And he was clutching and trying to get out of the grave. He couldn't make it out. His dirt was falling. So he finally just sat back in the dark corner. It was at night, a dark corner, and sat there with his collar up. And then Clarence came along, and Clarence also fell into the grave. Anyway, so Clarence was trying to get out, clutching and trying. Finally, the first guy, who was waiting back in the corner, he said, "You'll never make it." But he did. So you have to, it's called motivation. You have to have the right motivation. Anyway, Clarence and Florence have 3 children, and I'd like to ask them to stand up so you can have a look at who they belong to. Daryl, Tanis, and Ricky. There's Daryl by the door, and there's Tanis, and there's Ricky standing there. Okay, the next son came along was Elmer. Elmer? Where's Elmer? Where'd Elmer go? Oh, there's Elmer. Oh, way to go, Elmer. Okay, Elmer lives in Brandon. He's a mechanic. Elmer, when we used to live on the farm, there's always a bunch of hunters, deer hunters, that wanted to hunt on our farm. So, of course, Elmer being my older brother, I asked his advice, right? So I said, what do you think, Elmer? He says, only let fishermen in on our farm, no hunters. I said, well, why just fishermen? He says, well, so far, none of them have mistaken me for a fish. It should be with Elmer, this should, yeah. Mark and Jeff. Well, there's Mark at the bar. He's an actor, too. 2 children is Lisa and Robbie. Where are they sitting? There's Lisa, right there. Elmer's been going, where's Robbie? There's Robbie right here. No, don't for, anyway, the next one is Irvin Dusty, and there he is written right there. Irvin all right, and Gail's a school teacher. One time one of her young students came up to her and says, I don't want to scare you, teacher, but my dad told me that if my marks don't improve, someone is going to get a spanking. Anyway, Irvin and Gail have two children, Corey and Kara. Where's Corey and Kara? Oh, there's Corey and Kara right here. Hi. Thank you. Okay, the next one is Bernice Lewis. Where's Bernice? Oh, there's Bernice standing right up there. Okay, Bernice lives in Brandon. She's actually a school teacher. And when Bernice was getting her teacher's certificate in Brandon, she used to stay in this residence that didn't allow any visitors after 11 o'clock. Anyway, one time there was a guy who was out front, parked out in front, and he couldn't start his car because he had a dead battery, okay? So he went and asked if he could borrow Bernice's telephone. While he was using Bernice's telephone, he heard this voice that said, Bernice, I told you there's no visitors after 11 o'clock. So Bernice shouted back. She says, it's okay, his battery's dead. Oh, there's more. Great. I was just going to mention that. There's a lot of coffee. Okay. There's a lot of coffee there. If anybody wants seconds and coffee and food, too. So if anybody wants seconds and food and coffee, go ahead and help yourself. Okay. Okay. Bernice married a guy named Dave Lewis. And Dave, where's Dave? Oh, there's Dave taking pictures. Hi, Mom. Anyway, okay, Dave was also a school teacher in Brandon. Now, Dave used to write love letters to Bernice all the time. Of course, Bernice, being the typical school teacher, she used to correct them all the time. Anyway, Dave was the only guy I know who got a report card after his honeymoon. And, on the bottom of every report card, there's always a room for comments, right? Teacher's comments. So Bernice wrote, Dave is neat, friendly, and shows a keen interest in fun and games. Anyway, okay, who's next? Okay, Dave and Bernice have... What? Yeah, okay, my wife is correct. Dave have three children, Danny, Anthony, and Juliana. There goes Anthony. Anthony is sleeping, okay. Well, we're going to have to get it later. Okay, the next one on the list here is Gilbert Susky. That's Gibby, better known as Gibby. Gibby lives in Minnedosa, and he is an engineer for Mohawk Gasohol plant in Minnedosa. So we could probably tell you a few things about that, but we won't. Anyway, Gibby also used to be a window washer. Before he used to be, yeah, you didn't know that, did you? He used to be a window washer. And one time he was and all of a sudden, this lady stepped out of the bathtub, right there, and there's Gibby. And they're both standing there, completely stunned, looking at each other. Finally, Gibby said, "What's the matter, lady? Have you never seen a window washer before?" Okay, who's next? Okay, Joanne Susky is Gibby's Joanne. We call her Gibby's Joanne because my wife's Joanne, so it's Jerry's Joanne, Gibby's Joanne. There's Gibby's Joanne and Liz Mendoza too, of course. And Joanne said that husbands are all just like fishermen. This is a good one to start off to finish with is Nathaniel. She says, husbands are all like fishermen. They all complain about the ones they kept, and they brag about the ones that got away. I don't really believe that. Anyway, that's the complete family, and what? They have two children too. You're right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Nadine and Nicole. Where's Nadine and Nicole? Oh, there's Nicole, and Nadine is sleeping. Okay. Kara tells me that Nadine is sleeping. Okay, that's a girl. Okay. So Frank and Beatrice have 18 grandchildren. And one great-grandchild. Where's Jody? One great-grandchild. That's okay. We know him anyway. We know Jody. He's probably sleeping somewhere. Anyway, now also I want to introduced. Everybody knows Father Siemens, of course. I was going to ask Father, we had a lot of people who were concerned about the weather, you know, coming out here because it's been just a really nice day. And we were very blessed with this. I was going to ask Father Siemens to give us a really nice day for the anniversary, but he's something like me. He's in sales. He's not in management. Anyway, so the best man, I'd like to introduce the best man as Uncle Alec Lubetsky, and Uncle Bill Spears. Okay, the best man, and the bridesmaids 50 years ago was Vera Kubowski and Margaret Spears. Want to stand up? There's the wedding party from 50 years ago. Well, I'll tell you, I hope that's really looking as good as you are. Really. That's great. Anyway, okay. I think at this time right now, I'd like to. There's Bernice right there. Bernice, did you want to do a few things here before we go any further?
Mom and Dad received several messages of congratulations on their 50th anniversary. Okay, Mom and Dad received several congratulations messages, and I'd like to read 3 of them. One is from Pierre Trudeau. He says, heartiest congratulations and very best wishes on the occasion of your 50th wedding anniversary. And Governor General Ed Schreier says, my wife and I are delighted to hear that you are celebrating your golden wedding anniversary this year. On this happy occasion, it gives us great pleasure to send you our best wishes and warmest congratulations. The Mayor of Nipawin, Homer Gill, sent a very nice message. Dear Frank and Beatrice, it has been drawn to my attention that you are celebrating your 50th wedding anniversary on November 14th, 1982. And Mayor of Nipawin, on behalf of many citizens and friends who cannot be with you on this special occasion, I wish to extend congratulations to you. There are not too many couples who reach such a milestone. You have over many years contributed much to the life of our community through your everyday labors, church and family. I know this will be a proud and happy day in your lives, surrounded as you are with friends, relatives, and family. May I wish you many more years of happiness and good health. Homer Gill. Further messages were received from Joe Clark, Ken Burgess, the Mayor of Brandon, Charlie Mayer, MP, Laverne Lewicki, MP, Pearl McGonigal, Lieutenant Governor of Manitoba, Howard Pauley, Sterling Lyon, and Wally McKenzie, MLA. Actually, I think the 7 of us kids feel blessed with Mom and Dad being our parents and giving us life. So we thought Mom and Dad deserved a blessing also. So we'd like to present them with this special papal parchment from Rome. Father, this is signed by the Pope, and as he signs it, he, I believe, extends a special blessing on the couple receiving it. Mom and Dad, would you come up here, please, and receive your papal parchment and blessing?
Settle down. Shh. Quiet.
Congratulations, Mom and Dad.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, we have from our quite far away. We have Lyle White from Edmonton is here tonight. We had really hoped that a couple of special people that were going to be here tonight, and one of them are here. One of them that we were hoping was to be here was Uncle Joe Terlesky. He had an operation not too long ago and he couldn't make it. He's 91 years old and he's Frank's school. Mrs. Ann Terlesky, Ann Helen Terlesky is here. Could you stand up, Mrs. Ann Helen, that they could be very proud of their student and their godchild, because we're very, very proud of them as parents. They work very, very hard in their lifetime, probably harder than any of us in my generation will, I'm sure. And as I look around me, I see all my uncles and aunts and my Uncle Jack and Uncle Fred and everybody Uncle Paul and everything, who worked very, very hard in their lifetime. And they worked hard just for one thing, and that's so we could have a better life. And it's very, very important. My dad, I remember him on the farm when he used to have a sore back, but he still worked. He never went on strike or anything like that. I went through the typical teenage years myself, when between the 13 years and 16 years old, and I didn't think my dad knew a thing about life. He didn't know a thing. Then I went on my own more. I turned 18. I wondered how my dad got so smart in just 1 year. Because we all went through that, didn't we? My mom, she would hold the garden, feed the chickens, make a quilt, and make her own soap, paint her house, and still have 3 hot meals a day, and homemade bread, and she still have time to give us a hug at bedtime. So, you know, like I said, I'm not just talking about my mom and dad, because I know that my uncles and aunts and my in-laws and everything, they're all do the same thing. When we were at home, when we were all very small children, we used to talk Polish. And I used to tell my mom and dad, we used to tell them, we said, let's talk English. We want to learn to talk English more. Now, I wish I could talk Polish more, because I miss it. I wish I could talk Polish more. They're good Canadian citizens. They put more into our society than they took out. And that means a lot. We're a very, very fortunate family. We have a good time at our yearly family reunions and golf tournaments that we have every year. Bankett Beatrice have son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws who they have grown to love like their own daughters and sons. And we have brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws who we have grown to love like their own sisters and brothers. So we've all been very fortunate, really. Anyway, I've even kind of grown fond of my wife, Joanne, here. Anyway, excuse me for getting a little mushy here. I just couldn't help it here. But anyway, Gibby and Lil, did you have something you wanted to do at this time?
I'm the baby of the family, and I got the pleasure of saying the last word here, but my sister, my oldest sister here, decided that she's going to write my speech for me, so all I'm going to do is say exactly what she wrote. Here, Mom, and here, Dad, congratulations.
Do you want to open them now? Do you want to open them now? Anyway, what it is for everybody, if you see it later, it's a couple. One thing they haven't had for a while is a couple Seiko watches. That's from the sons and daughters and the son-in-laws and daughters. Yeah, we also got I've got them some good winter coats which we haven't had for a while. So. Anyway, okay. While they're doing that, I just want to also tell you this little story about oh yeah, okay. anyway, before we get any further, I also want to tell you a story about Frank and Beatrice. Beatrice wrote a letter. She was having a little trouble one time, if you know what I mean, about the husband problems. And she wrote a letter to dear Abby about her problem. She said, she wrote a letter. She said, "Dear Abby, my husband is 73 years old and he still chases girls. What should I do?" So 75? 74? 74 years old and he still chases girls. What should I do? So dear Abby wrote back and said, "Dear Beatrice, my dog chases cars, and I'm sure that if you ever caught one, you wouldn't know what to do with it." Anyway, Uncle John Quat, would you like to say a few? Would like to say a few words here right now, if you would. Uncle John Quat, he drove the team of horses that drove the wedding party to the church 50 years ago today.
I'm honored to say a few words about my friend Frank. We used to go to school together, the same church together, and my niece, Bernice, she was a little younger. We still went to the same church. And then Bernice, Beatrice, asked me to take her, when she and I were getting married, to take her to church. And so I had a nice little black team, and they're a little nervous. And Frank had his brother's team. His brother was taking him. But when we were going to church and back again, I had friends in my sleighs there with a double-barreled shotgun. Shot the salute for the new wed people. And my team was getting nervous. They start taking it off. So, as Jerry said, that he froze his ear. My team was taking it the best of the other team. And Frank was getting a little hot. So he started talking to himself. He took his cap off. And that's what about the team that he should go first. And he took his cap off and he started talking. And that's why he froze his ears. Cap off. And well, after he got married, he took his wife on his farm. He had it a couple of miles away. And they lived there for approximately 13 years and he wanted to make some money there. But it didn't work very good, so he sold the farm. He moved to Glenella, I guess it was. He stayed there for another about 13 years, something like that, anyway, approximately. And he made some money there. He always wanted to get rich. That's in Susky's family.
It's not working. It's not working.
It's working. So he stayed there for a while, but that wasn't good enough. He didn't fill his spot up yet. So he moved to Niqua. Spent the rest of the time in Niqua. He got a job in the Southwell. And Beatrice, hot job years in there. They filled the pot up, and they retired. And they raised a nice big family. 4 boys, 3 girls, beautiful girls. And I don't know very much more to say because Jerry covered pretty well all. So I think we're just going to have toast to the bride. And
Thanks very much, Uncle John. That was really nice. Really nice. Dad, did you wanna say a couple words? Did you wanna say a couple words now too, or what? You? No, you. Not Father, Dad.
I don't know what to say now. I think Jerry covered more than I knew ever. But I just want to thank all you people, in behalf of the wife and me, that you all turned out as you did. I'm very happy for that one only thing. And I want everybody to enjoy, and we don't want to lose too much more time. Enjoy some more, eh? Thank you very much.
Father Stephen, did you want to say anything at this point? You've said it all? Yeah? That was a very nice service, Father. Thank you very much. Very nice service. That pretty well wraps it up here now, really. We've still got about another hour and a half of dancing here, but I just want to close and sing now, first of all, that we want to say to you, Frank and Beatrice, Mom and Dad, Grandma and Grandpa, from all of us here tonight, we wish you good health and much happiness in the many years to come. Okay, the bar is going to be open in about, what, 1 minute, Elmer? Let's get that bar open. Let's have some fun. Let's go.